This is Guide to Texas, Part 1. Dallas, Part 1. DFW Airport, Part 1. I like to do a little delay at the beginning of these. It's right here. I just have to do a little and I mean, check it out. No delay, whatever. But you want to liven things up? This might this might come up again. We might go back to the delay in a little while. Let's talk about Dallas, a land of contrast, a land of contrast between old money and new money. Maybe Dallas was a big thing in the 1980s. There was a TV show. Remember that? Who Shot J.R. I don't think the TV show Dallas was the first of anything other than maybe the first TV show set in Dallas. Was Dallas the first, spoiler alert, was Dallas the first TV show where like a whole season, somebody wakes up at the end of the season, they realize they were dreaming? I think that happened on Dallas. Dallas was on like right after the Dukes of Hazzard. I didn't watch it. I'd be interested in having somebody do that and tell me about it. Let's think about Dallas. I've always, okay, think of it like this. No, always. My whole life, I've, like that DFW airport code. There's some cool airport codes. YYZ, that's pretty cool. And then if you're interested in the Canadian band Rush, they composed a piece called YYZ that has does everybody know this? The YYZ Morse code thing? That's cool. The DFW airport code is no slouch. Dallas, Fort Worth. Until I got to know some Texans, which I've been doing lately, I never gave much thought to Fort Worth. Like everyone's heard of it. I give more thought to Little Rock and I don't know, lots of place names. Little Rock comes to mind. Tulsa, Emporia, Kansas, Des Moines. There's some great Middle America place names. Rapid City. There's some cool names. Fort Worth is a cool name, but I just never gave it much thought. And yet there it was, hidden in DFW in the airport code. I want to, before I really get going on DFW Airport, I want to go a little bit into, I have an apology. I want to freshen up my apology to Rick Steves. Rick, you're an all right guy. You've done a lot for travel in your lifetime, and you continue to do a lot for travel. You stoke the enthusiasm and make travel seem attainable to a lot of people. Many of them are in your Facebook group, and I apologize to you for saying things about your Facebook group that may have come across as being directed at you. I think you're a cool guy, as far as I can tell. I'm inspired. I'm actually quite inspired to encourage people to leave their house, look around, discover their own things in the world. You've done that for people too. In the Facebook group, things are a little heated tonight. Somebody, let's see, I'll show some visuals. The timing, I don't know what brought this about for this person, but somebody decided to start an argument in the Rick Steves Facebook group, and it has to do with, have you done a place? If you say, we did London last summer and we did Paris, here's the thing. You can see in the gist of the post with a nice picture of some tourist attraction, beautiful old thing somewhere in Western Europe, Rick Steves' area that he's claimed. Rick, congratulations on all that you've done. Anyway, the gist of this post is like that's inappropriate use of language, and somewhere in there it says words matter. See that? Words matter. I didn't comment. I wanted to comment. I not enough to actually do it, and I thought it would be to say, I could say like, your words don't matter. I thought of it and then I just moved on. But there's a nice rebuttal where someone says, you don't even understand how language is used in different places. And like, okay, you're Rick, you got to get these people under control. I don't think I don't think they're carrying on the spirit of this project that you started so many years ago as a travel enthusiast with your own, so shall we say, self-guided tour. I don't know that you have much influence over what goes on in your group, which is sad. Let's talk about Dallas. I've always been fascinated by Texas. It's such a big place. The cowboy hats. It's a land of contrasts. It's kind of filled up over the years. It's the second most, well, Texas is the most second populous state now after California. Maybe you didn't know that. I don't know what it was when I was a kid, but anyway, we had to go there. We keep having to go there for like trainings and stuff. And I've gotten to actually know a lot of Texans professionally, and I really just admire the can-do spirit of Texas. And then other things too. I love the overpasses. I really do. They're just, it's so neat. What gives? They must have a lot of some ingredient that goes into concrete available. And maybe the ground is really, well, it's probably like limestone, I bet, because I bet you can use stuff that's in limestone to make concrete and not have to carry it very far if it's right there. And then conversely, I bet it's pretty hard to dig into the earth and go down to build a tunnel when it's limestone. Like here in Minnesota, we just have dirt, or actually sand. I'm at the southern end of the Anoka sand plain, or the St. Croix moraine. There's some bedrock down there, but I bet it's a real pain to dig down there. I'm going to research that when I'm creating a final version of this video, and I'll put the answer up there. So what do you think? Is there limestone under Texas, and is that why they just build up with these overpasses? Or is it something else? Here's the answer. So there you go. That's the best I can figure out from my research. Thanks for following that. So we're off to DFW, and first I want to say a very quick, we were in Albuquerque on a trip in 2014, obviously not in Texas, and weirdly, well, maybe we went through, God, oh, we flew through, I don't like to do connecting flights, but we flew through DFW, and then that was how we got to Albuquerque. And then someone had told me to go check out this place in downtown Albuquerque. There's a guy pulling up his pants. And energy was high in the whatever. Energy was abundant in Albuquerque that year because Breaking Bad had come out, and here's that the wife, and here's this place, so cool. They have parking spaces stashed all over like downtown Albuquerque or whatever. It's a Mexican like cafeteria style breakfast place, and it's gigantic. And like there's just cool stuff in there. It's like a museum of breakfast. And then they have these just, it's a lot, the parking spaces are at a premium. This is down by the university. And Albuquerque Airport. This is what we're leading up to the first substantial amount of time that I spent in the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, DFW. And that's why I'm showing you this. And I just thought this was a cool picture. We were waiting for a plane to take off out of Albuquerque, which of course I always get the Chuck Berry song Promised Land going in my head when I'm in any of the places really in that song. So that would be Norfolk, Virginia, Albuquerque, others. I'll list some others in the titles in little, maybe I'll use those little clouds like, right. Here's a screen that wasn't working. Okay, now we're in DFW, and I'm going to give you a little AB. I'm kind of giving you all of the rundown of the times I've been in the Dallas Fort Worth Airport, that except one where I guess I didn't take any pictures when we headed to Albuquerque. But here's a screen from, honestly, 2014. I'm like scraping for material here. And there's an error message. Remember that. Remember the error message. Let's circle that. See that? And then look down below the airport map. Check this out. I did this with Strava, or at the time it was some, whatever, it doesn't matter. Look, there's emergency road. I hope, for everyone's sake, I hope they never need to go on that. And then I guess there's a toll road going right under the airport, although I honestly never picked up on that ever, any of these times that I like to think that I like really saw the whole thing, like did the whole thing. By the way, on that, followers of Rick Steves, I got a little sidetracked with my little stand-up routine when I like, how should I comment on the pompous baby boomer? No, that wasn't fair. Well, Rick Steves traveler comment thing, and God, what was I going to say? It'll come to me in a minute. Anyway, what I like about DFW, now that I've been there, I used to just like the airport code, DFW. It's cool. Dallas-Fort Worth. What's the deal with Fort Worth? I still don't really know. We went through there once, and I'll show you a couple pictures of like some really sick overpasses. That's what there is in Fort Worth. And there's the one called the Mixmaster. Like, you can do your own research. This stuff is easy to find out about. Again, the overpasses, like, I did not know until just now. I'm back home. I'm not even in Dallas, and I'm just realizing that there's an International Parkway toll road that runs right directly below Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. And then, but the red line here is to indicate that you can take a train around the airport, and it makes that sort of double hourglass shape or whatever. Because different terminals, and more about that in a minute. You think the terminals are all the same? It looks pretty uniform. Kind of. There are some differences. One thing I remember from the first visit to the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport that I like think of every time I'm there is we got off our plane. It's hot and humid. I always noticed that when I'm in a southern place. It was May 2014, a while ago. The same could be true today or a couple months from now. It's March right now. We got off the plane, and on the overhead airport music playing nice audibly was my favorite Rolling Stones song, Under Cover of the Night. What a cool song. And I don't even know, is it one word, undercover, like an undercover agent, and you're the one of that particular night? Or is it under the cover of the night and you're doing things in the dark? I don't know. And I tend not to look up the lyrics to songs. I just want to catch them when the time is right and not study them. And I've never really looked into that. Hit the comments below, set me straight. I'd love to hear from you out there. First trip to Dallas, the point, you can take a train all the way around. You can do that. I like the call letters. I'm good for life. Here's a different visit to Dallas for like a work thing where we're not really there to see the city. I don't care. I'll see it anyway. And there was just this really interesting person in like first class who seemed, I'm just going to guess that this person inherited a whole lot of money and lives very, very well, but like does not care. I sort of remember her face. She was a very unassuming, chill person. Just looked like someone that like just got a lot of money, which is sort of how I picture Dallas. It's like it was something sort of nice there, actually. It's a nice climate, but there's just someone's like dumping money on this place. Doesn't everyone sort of think that about Dallas? More about that later. Guy with cowboy boots and jorts. There's like, this is just what you see when you're like, I'm in Texas. Here are some of these overpasses. Here's an IKEA. This was outside of some like hotel event center that we were at. These things are always like a 10-minute Uber from the airport. This one was just neat because the overpasses were right there and I could just gaze at them during all the breaks during the event. It was really cool. Green overpasses. This is all like right outside the hotel. And I don't know. Don't ask me what hotel it was. It was some like, I don't think it matters. It was, I can look it up if you really want. Like send me a PM or something and I'll figure it out. I don't mean to have an attitude. I don't think it matters. You're getting a feel for Dallas here. Or here's a nice metaphorical picture of old versus new, except the twist probably is that everything is probably new. I mean, those things, that looks like a dorm at an Ivy League university, but it was probably built like 12 years ago. Oh, we're in 2019 now, by the way, with these last round of pictures. Dallas, just layers of overpasses, but the overpasses are so, I don't know, they're just so bold. There's a boldness. Now I've been mythologizing this food hall a little bit in the intervening years since 2019. I'm like, there was a live band and it was a happening place and people were out doing stuff and it was only Thursday night. I'm like, can you believe it? Thursday night, it's not that busy. But my general statement holds. I think people in Texas like to go out and do things. I've observed that. Like the restaurants are busy, people are out having fun. I'm giving a little peek into Dallas here, but I don't know. It's not exactly like people standing shoulder to shoulder. There's a sky. Yeah, it's kind of busy. Construction. I was intrigued by this. This is walking back from the food hall. Here's some of what they served at the event. Thought just to let you know what I was running on that weekend. Back to the overpasses. This was, speaking of running, I actually went out running and it's like, what do I do? Where do I go? I just went. I just love all that concrete in Dallas. And so they were working on something. Oh, they were redoing a bridge. Yeah, here we go. Feeds from switchgear. Rat took the, that Ernest Hemingway thing. Like, what is it? For sale, 1 pair of baby shoes, never worn. This is a better, really short story, dude. Or equally good relative to the Ernest Hemingway one. So, like, I don't know why I took this picture, but here, what's that? Ornamental. Oh, someone drew there must be a cable, and then they drew orange right across the periwinkles. I guess is why I took that picture. These overpasses, I just melt. There's something with the light and these overpasses and the greenness / brownness of the vegetation that this just hits. And then the maroon rust-proof paint underneath. So, oh, look at that. And look at that. Is that a cell tower or is that illumination? And that one yellow sign. I like how this photo is composed and I'm happy with it. It's just looked like the picture I wanted to take, I'm sure, at the time. But I would say that this scene is composed. And you can't miss, right? Like, that's a composed scene. I kind of hate it when I try to get things level, like Wes Anderson style or Instagram style. So, a little critical. But I don't know. I'll give this photo an 8.9 out of 10. And that's partly like humility because whatever. And then like, what if I get a better photo next year? I don't want to use up all my 10s. Loading dock. Less inspiring color. Give this scene a 2. The photo is a 10. I did my best. It's just a bad subject. It's not my fault. Somewhere this. Oh, I had to go to a Walmart. I took this picture at the Walmart. It's a place to get lunch. Back to the overpasses. Yes. This was probably out of the window of the Uber. I'm just like trying to drink it all in. Remember, we're barely in Dallas when we go to Dallas. And then most of the time that we're there, we're inside of windowless rooms with other dentists. Yep, this is definitely just trying to grab some photos. I should just be doing Google Street View, you guys. I apologize. Google Street View has better views of this scene than what I got here. You can see an airplane up there. Zoom in and see that. Next trip to... Wait. Oh, funny. I'm missing like... Well, okay, different trip. This is the one with the weightlifters. Again, I'm giving a little window or a little peek into Dallas, the city itself. And we're also talking about the airport. It's raining. Yeah, this is the one... This might be Grapevine, I think. They have all these fake lakes that you can actually... Here's like, oh, they're little. Let's go around them. These fake lakes are actually big enough that if you like go too far around one on foot, it's going to take you a while to get back. And you're going to like worry that you have to call a riot or something. It's always weird to me when it rains in Texas too, but I've got good people telling me that it rains there a lot. And like storms come up. Okay, so back to the convention. Okay, not sure. Oh yeah, this mud. Okay, so it rained in the morning. It was time to go run in the afternoon after the event before dinner. And there's like everything, and I think this is Grapevine too. Everything is new. Like they just put it up like that year. This was right before COVID. This was February of 2020 here, the before times. This mud, I guess they just planned for it. I didn't plan for it. It's like you have to run. We're out running and it gets all over your shoes. This sign, like on that weird, like welded metal thing, it just says Dallas. It's like something out of the Coen brothers or not even. That's how they announce themselves, like the Dallas sign. I'm just dying when I see that. Obviously got a picture. Fire alarm sounds like a loud whooping sound. And these just entertainment complexes. We're back home. Next trip to Dallas. Now it's 2021. I bothered to take a photo at the airport. I have sometimes been in a hurry, depending on who we're with. And this is just, used gum, shoes. It's unusual to see both lost shoes. You usually only see one. You ever notice that? That's like a kind of a rule, I think. Somebody's hat. These are all things that fell down from this sort of walkway thing that I don't think I have a picture of it, but I'll try to find you one in Google Street View. And stuff just ends up there. And I think they're doing away with these things. But look at the contrast with Hoover Dam. Obviously, at Hoover Dam, everybody goes and looks over the edge on the downstream side. But if you take a minute and walk across the little road and look at upstream or towards Lake Mead and then look straight down towards the center of the earth, people have dropped pennies. And look, very similar. I have a shot like this from Duluth, Minnesota. But it's going to be hard to find. But like stuff on top of stuff category, I don't know. After the rain kind of soaked into the earth or dried up or whatever, it was very beautiful the next morning. There's a weightlifter convention. Well, bodybuilders. There's a bodybuilder and there's significant other heading out to the pool deck. I watched this for a while. I thought it was so sweet. And did some posing. And I don't have a good... I do all my photos with my phone. But it was a whole thing. It was a photo shoot. It was just so sweet. Like getting ready for a bodybuilding convention at the Grapevine, whatever, like convention center. Look, flexing. Later on, this sticker I found intriguing. I've never Googled it or anything. This place was called like the Toyota something. Here's what I finally did. Oh, wait. Yeah, this stuff looked like it was all built like 6 months before we got there. And yet there's this weird like oozing. That's a cool photo with the oozing. Selfie. West End something. Just more shots of, there's a cool drainage ditch here. They wanted to build a suburb here. They had to do something about the water. I found this is like my one time outside the hotel and conference center. I went under the underpass. I'm like, this outfit actually, now they bring me back as a panelist. And probably because nobody noticed that between like sessions, I'm out. I'm like, I'm just gonna go wander around by the overpass. Anyway, it works. Hey, it's working. I'm living my best life. There's not much you can. Please don't try to do anything about it. Let's see. Credit card on the ground, wallet. Geez, we can just read the number. Don't look at that. Wallet. This was obviously like thrown off the overpass, thrown over the overpass, ended up in the grass under the overpass, and forget it. Like, but I did go, I think I turned it in at the convention center where they were having this bodybuilding convention that I weirdly have. I don't think I have any photos of the bodybuilding convention. I keep saying bodybuilding. Sorry. Then the next morning there was like a 5K or something. None of that needs to interest you. That's fine. And here we are. We're up to the present date, 2023. A few days ago, Dallas, very gray. The light changes things around there. And brown ground, gray skies, March in Texas, Dallas, part 1. Easy Uber pickup, business traveler guy, and a few quick photos on the way to the convention center. A new record for me. Been to these events a few times, and this was like, I didn't go outside for like, maybe I stepped outside for a second. I was inside that place for 48 hours straight, inside the like hotel convention center. I didn't even bother to go look around outside. I'm a little ashamed, but we were busy and we had lots of friends at the thing, and it was actually really fun. So like, as I get to know more people at this event, I'm probably going to have less time to go gawk at overpasses. So I'm glad I did it when I didn't know anybody that I would get to see. And these overpasses weren't that good, like compared to the last round. I don't know. This was right outside DFW. Very Texan surroundings. That's probably all you're going to get out of this shot. Probably a gated community. Lots of fences to keep the kids out of the storm drains. Subdivision, whatever, kind of basic. Big golf store, steakhouse. And we're back to DFW again. I really seriously didn't look around at this one. It was a Marriott something. They were very nice. A couple shots from inside the place. It was sort of neat. Great times with my people at the event. That no issue there. That's why I didn't even think to go outside. I was having so much fun inside with my people. We got back to DFW. We went through the clear line. Dude was super nice. Everybody knows that clear people are just the nicest ever. And this interesting, like, hey, graphic artist, please make a graphic that illustrates putting your shoes back on. Someone came up with this, and then I don't know, I just thought it was interesting. Let's fill in the blanks. I said earlier there's this tram thing that goes around the airport, and it's a triple hourglass or whatever I said, and then I got all distracted because there's an underpass under the airport, I guess, with cars going under it. Wasn't aware. We'll have to look into that. Anyway, the Skylink. I'll just take you through the Skylink. If you're at DFW for more than like 20 minutes, just take this thing, unless you're just on a really tight turnaround. There's somebody taking a nap. Because the Skylink, it's a train, it's free free. You just have to like be a ticketed passenger to be inside there. And there's one that goes one way and there's one that goes the other way, like those neurological things where you're supposed to like do that thing and build new neural whatever. The trains run not parallel but opposite each other, and there's a map. I made a friend It's funny. It looks like I'm pointing at the friend. I wasn't, not on purpose, but kind of a cool photo. He liked me. We were checking each other out. So at first, it's not that interesting. I'm like, my viewers, they're gonna get this far into this 27-minute video and decide to stop watching because this train isn't that interesting. I was having some negative self-talk, nagging self-doubts, whatever. But travel isn't always interesting. A lot of it is like sometimes you're just waiting around. So I rode the train and I got you some nice video so you can see. There's my friend again. You can see the train going. It's these cute little 2-car trains. So you're always near the front and the back. What could only be downtown something, perhaps Fort Worth, Dallas, I don't know. And the train just goes around and around. People get on and off. Military guy got on. Someone just said, "Thank you for your service," as he got on, and he said, "Thank you, ma'am." It was sweet. It was very sweet, in the military attire. I didn't want to take a picture of him, but I took a picture of the feet to remind me, because that just, I don't know, that I like that. We all should say thanks. I love expressing gratitude, and that just, to see somebody doing that made me happy, and someone else receiving the gratitude. Control towers like everywhere. How many control towers does an airport need? Depends on the airport. There's probably like a Quora thing about this. You look it up, tell me about it in the comments. The train fills up, people get off, they get back on. Well, different ones get on. I'm probably the only one riding the whole thing around and around. It takes about 20 minutes, 15 minutes to do a whole circuit without getting off the train. Had time to browse the internet for a minute. I like this thrift store art. Here's a schematic map of the train, although I know they had to make it like this so people can just follow it easily, but compare with the Google Street View thing from earlier. There that is again. Because you're not really getting the whole story. Like what they don't tell you is that it's not shaped like a big elongated penicillin pill. It's shaped like sex toy. No, I mean not even quite. What's like 3 round things stuck together? I'm gonna think about that. So it's pleasant. It's pleasant to be on the train. A lot of when I dream at night, like probably 55% of my dreams are involving airports and getting on and off of airplanes and other public transport, but mostly centered around airports. I really like airports. So some of this is me just soaking in, like I want to have more settings for my dreams, so it's not always like the same thing that is in my brain. And these big long escalators, probably the longest escalators in Texas, I'm just going to hazard a guess, because they don't have subway systems that I know of. And these mosaics. Okay, now here's the terminal something, the nice one, because this is not the crummy DFW that I know, because I always fly Delta, and Delta is not, it doesn't have a hub at Dallas, obviously. So they're like there's a lot more love and money that goes into some of these terminals, or they're slowly redoing them all. So this looks like Terminal D, and American Airlines, maybe they're based in Dallas. We'll look that up. We'll give you a yes or a no. Probably if I catch this in the editing. It's like really upscale. There's a selfie. Not sure why I took that. Barbecue, whatever. Oh, I wanted to see the Grand Hyatt, but I had to leave security. And I didn't have that much time. Guy in suit. Terminal D is just a more upscale affair. I didn't see any of this at Terminal E, the Delta one. There's this 7-Eleven. I went all through there thinking, the 7-Elevens in like Hawaii are really cool because they have all this Hawaii stuff like sushi. I mean, that's the least of it. All this cool stuff in 7-Eleven Hawaii. So I thought maybe Texas will have a Texas-specific 7-Eleven offering. I looked and they really don't. Well, there are a couple of things that I'm not sure if they're unique to Texas, but like it does. There's chili and cheese buttons that you can press. Flavored syrup pumps. Pretty standard stuff. I will say I appreciate that these espresso machines are finally in the US, and you just go up and push a button and you actually get like pretty decent espresso. They have these at Dunkin' Donuts now. Yeah, here's what I noticed. There's egg salad sandwich, there's a chicken salad sandwich, sadwich, you know, nothing Texas specific unless this maybe is. But there's a half sandwich combo. They took the other two kind of sandwiches and they'll let you buy one of each. If you're having trouble deciding, the price is the same. $6.99 is actually a pretty good price for even this at an airport in the USA. Everybody sort of knows this is like $13 at the Portland airport. It's like super rip off, like 1-star review material. Here, that's just cool. That because they're look at those two types of sandwich. I'm thinking there are a lot of people that probably can't decide. Are we going to do the egg salad or the chicken? So they they decide for you. Okay, I'm having trouble here. Then this huge like bar entertainment complex, the flying saucer, live music. I won't do the Texas accent. I'm sorry. This cool like imagery. I looked for a minute, like, does it signify anything? Probably not really, but the DFW logo is neat. Another great concept coming soon. I love the optimism in that. But then I love that optimism. The lion going through that's a cool logo that doesn't resemble the double hourglass shape of the actual shape of the train that I'm supposed to be showing you. So here's some more of that. Well, wait, first there's a shoe shine. They really did not make that shoe shine booth ceremonious. They went to a machine shop or whatever and said, make the most basic. I mean, sometimes, I don't know, in Minnesota these things are like thrones. I'll find you a picture sometime. And I don't know. I think that I'm sad to say I think the shoe shine is probably about over in the world. These mosaics, Terminal D, you have nice mosaics, Terminal D. They're really nice. Information person there. Okay, back on the train. This is the really long run that gets you back to Terminal D. Goes way out. You see a lot of interesting things. You see things being stored. You can see more control towers. There are like many at DFW. Qatar Airlines, I think I'm saying that correctly. And just this vast open space. Like they needed an airport. They had room. I doubt that was an issue. Fuel trucks. A lot of staging. I just like looking at this stuff. I realize now we can probably see where the underpass goes right under the airport with that aforementioned tollway. Here's where they store luggage boxes or whatever. I don't know. Airport stuff is neat. I like these like blast walls or whatever. Barbed wire fence. I can't really tell if cars use this underpass thing that was on the map. No, they probably do. We're looking off the end of the triple hourglass off the long axis of the airport, and I'll have to drive through there sometime. Onward. This odd parking lot that like I could have a whole dream set right there where I like go camping there in my dream, and that's what happens in my dream. I swear this is like what my dreams are like. You think I'm just doing this because it's ironic? I actually like this stuff. I hope. Well, I don't care what you think my intent is, but thanks for watching. Just general scene. So I'm giving a little feel for what it's like. There's something very sweet at the end of this adventure by rail. I found these yoga things like neat. Okay. Somebody did that. Here's some people getting on their plane. You can when do you ever get to watch people boarding? I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I mean, once they've already been scanned, they kind of go away. You don't get to stand there and watch them, but we did. I did. Spirit Air. Oh, so there's a yoga studio. That's what this is. Like, DFW, you've been holding out on me. This is back at Terminal D, by the way. I went around. I don't want to harsh somebody's mellow if they're in there doing their yoga. And what did I find? I really didn't want to take a complete picture. I just took out of just, I'm intruding enough walking back there. There's a fake potted plant. Somebody's praying to Mecca. It's sweet. In the yoga studio with a little mat. And I didn't let myself be seen. And I checked this scene out for a fraction of a second, took a quick photo that didn't have the whole person in it and got out. It was just a very serene moment that I was momentarily a part of. Now we know we're in Texas. There's an aquarium which seems to attract people who stop there and look at their phones. This kept happening. Cash withdrawals only. Some welcome stuff. There's the TGI Fridays. What? Oh, people were comfortable at the DFW airport. Some people were wearing their pajamas. Here's a info screen. Spirit Air thing backwards. We can probably... Yeah, okay, Terminal D, the Delta terminal, it's not very nice. Like, compare that to the mosaics back at Terminal E with the nice one with American Airlines. Delta, you gotta up your game. But that's a cool mosaic. It has crop circles, and we're getting the view from overhead. Like, that inspires me to make sure I catch my plane. I want to see that same thing for myself from the air. Starbucks, Texas mugs. There's this odd, like, one-off, sort of funny, one-off Pizzeria Uno concept called Uno Due Go. Odd. Somebody playing the guitar. There's a guy with boots. It's like pretty hot out. I found that interesting. And here we go. Here's the departure screen, and there's an error message. And we're getting years between instances of this. And there's still, whoever's in charge of the computers at the DFW airport, like, does this happen a lot? I'm just curious. There's an error screen right over the middle of that screen. And I have a small collection of these, as you might imagine. Photos of error messages on publicly viewable screens. The mosaic. From whining to winning. Language button. So DFW is a nice airport. The final icing on the cake, we got on the plane, and here's a guy that had a permanent standing Post-it note on his laptop, and I grabbed a quick picture. It says, change computer to local time zone. It's like that movie Memento where you're tattooing things on his arms and everything with the memory loss or whatever that is. This guy's doing like Memento light, but with like, we're in Texas, so they're like Blood Simple vibes. I might be reaching at this point. And there's a nice view of these cute little Skylink trains when the plane is getting ready to take off. A few bonus shots from the air. One of many control towers. I never did count them all. Plane takes off. I forgot to look out the window for a minute. Can you believe it? But look, now we're looking down at where the train went, and that's the end terminal towards the west, I think. It's interesting. I can actually use the guy that was praying to Mecca had this all figured out, I guess. That's a very specific directional thing. That other weird terminal, there's a lot of cool stuff in this picture, and you can see DFW behind you. Just a cool airport, literally surrounded by an overpass, and it is itself an overpass. They're just artists with these overpasses. Then if we look, you can see a bridge that planes can go across. There's a lot in this picture. Study it on your own time, and I will as well. And then just taking off over Greater Dallas. We followed a highway, and much of it was elevated. Like, anytime the slightest provocation, the road engineers of Greater DFW area will just build right up. So cool. It's a big parking lot I'm always like the parking lots where cars are just smashed in, because it's actually like, this used to be an airport and now it's where they keep a lot of something. I'll look that up and put the name in the titles. Look at the beautiful freeways, and they just build up like it's no big deal. There's a golf course. Another airport, it's just so flat. I remember watching the movie Thin Red Line, Thin Blue. Oh my God, the Thin Blue Line. I'm sorry. And there's a map of Dallas in there to demonstrate things that happened in that storyline, and it's like so big and flat. But I'm hardly the first person to notice that.